Says its aircraft have carried out attacks against Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. The IDF says in a statement that the strikes targeted militant infrastructure inside the Lebanese territory on Sunday. The Israeli attack comes on the heels of a rocket strike that hit a soccer field in the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights, killing at least 12 people, including children. Israel claims the attack was launched by Hezbollah in Lebanon. However, the militant group denies it. On Sunday, a funeral procession took place in Golan Heights for the children and teenagers killed in the rocket attack.
אנחנו נמצאים באזור של הפשע שהיה אתמול ביישוב, שאיבדנו 12 יקרים שלנו. היום יום קשה, אובדן כבד.
So let's talk about this escalation in northern Israel, this rocket attack. Because I know people are painfully, in America, they're painfully stupid. So, what happened here, right? Let's break it down real quick. This was extremely evil. It was a false flag and it's extremely evil, right? And you say, why? Why do I say it was extremely evil? It was a false flag, right? And it's extremely wicked and evil. Now, they said that the Lebanese militant group bombed these people, right? Bombed these Israelis, citizens in northern Israel. But you don't get the whole story in the United States, right? But what's the true story? Right? And now they say this is escalation. You get the Israeli, people coming out on TV. We're going to strike back. We're going to all-out war against the Lebanese, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Right? Now, what's the truth behind this? So the truth is, the people they bombed, were they the typical European Jews from Israel? Nope. Let's get right into it. They were a bunch of Arabs who had moved into Israel, right? So you got Arab people, probably some from Lebanon, possibly Palestine, different areas that were living there in northern Israel. What's that area? That area is part of the Golan Heights. I believe is part of land taken from Lebanon and Syria that was stolen, and it's under dispute, right? So it was, all of it is taken over by the Israelis and the Europeans, but the European Israelis, but this particular, most recently, was taken over. It was stolen and annexed more recently, if I'm not mistaken, by these Israelis. And then what happened was they annexed the land, obviously it's people in that area. So those people that living in those towns around that area that they annexed were Arabs. So by default, you now live in the state of Israel, right? You got these people who have moved into that area, and they're mostly Arabs. Now, the Israelis obviously dislike Arab people, right? It's your typical, European anti-white, anything, that ain't white, light, bright, and almost white, they're not interested, right? They got a problem with it for the most part. And so they obviously, don't give a fuck about these people. So they figure, well, that's a buffer zone, right? You let them live there, you know what I mean, for whatever reason. And then what do? They turn them into cannon fodder. You see? They turn them into cannon fodder because the Arabs wouldn't bomb their own people. The Lebanese Arabs wouldn't bomb other Arabs. They wouldn't go into the Gaza Strip and bomb Arabs in Palestine and Gaza, right? And they wouldn't go into a town in northern Israel that's populated by Arabs and bomb them. So when they say we didn't bomb our own people, well, that would be correct. That would make sense. Arab is not gonna bomb other Arabs unless they generally like terrorists that work for outside groups, Al Qaeda, right? ISIS, stuff like that, right? So we know that the Lebanese generally very professional. They wouldn't kill that. Those people that were there in that area basically are their cousins. They wouldn't go in there and bomb their own people, even though they are Israeli citizens. They took over that area and now they're living in that area. They wouldn't go in there and bomb their own people, right? They wouldn't go bomb other Arab Muslims in that area. So what you have here now, the Israelis, you're talking about a group of truly evil, wicked people, as is written in the Bible, calls them the synagogue of Satan. They stand up to their name. They go in and bomb this group and they blame it on the Lebanese. And then they say, oh, they attacked our territory. You see? They attacked our territory, they're killing Israeli citizens. What they don't tell you is they're not Jewish. They're Arabs. Right? They're not Jewish Israelis, they're Arab Israelis. You see? And so they basically live in a buffer zone that they took over. And so now they're just using these people for cannon fodder. How wicked is that? And then they use them for a publicity stunt and a false flag operation and say, oh, look, they attacked us. They're killing our citizens. They're killing Israeli citizens in northern Israel, right? We have to escalate the war. This is the shit that they're doing, right? This is how wicked and evil these people are. I mean, the games that they're playing, right, with people's lives, they're basically using these children for cannon fodder and publicity stunts so that they can escalate a war, escalate the world, really the World War III. And you wonder why the Bible called them the synagogue of Satan. The Bible, Revelations 2 and 9, states that the false Jew, there shall be a false Jew. Now, Revelations is a prophecy. States that the false Jew, right, people that would claim they're Jews and are not, are nothing but the synagogue of Satan. What is that? They are the church of Satan, the agent of the Antichrist, the agents of Satan on earth. They work for them. You know, he is there amongst them, which makes sense, right? And I'm not gonna make this too long. I'm gonna say this before I go. What's funny is, right, you see all of these people swearing allegiance to Israel and America and their government, Joe Biden, Obama, Kamala Harris, you name it, Trump. They claim to be Christians, right? All these white American Christians, they swear allegiance to Israel. Like they don't read the Bible, like they don't read the book of Revelations. They don't know that those people are the synagogue of Satan. That's pretty interesting, right? Don't you think that's pretty interesting that they claim to be Christian? They're not bothered by any of this. These people bombed the home, like Jerusalem, Palestine is the home of their so-called leader of their religion, Jesus Christ. But on Christmas, they bombed basically Palestine and shut down Christmas in Palestine. Supposedly their main holiday. But in the U.S. Congress, who claim to be Christians, they were clapping for that, for the persons that did that. Revelation 2 and 9, the synagogue of Satan, the false Jew. You don't find that weird? Like, if I don't know, it just seems like, you know, if like me, if I had if I thought my Messiah or whatever was born in a certain place, my God, my Messiah, whatever it is you want to call it, right? The head of my religion or whatever I'm into was, in Chicago, right? And then you bomb Chicago, right? And a certain group did that. Like, I wouldn't swear allegiance to them, because then that would mean that I reject the beliefs of my so-called religion. That means I don't really support that so-called religion, because I let them mistreat, the place where my religion comes from. The origin of my religion comes from Chicago. So if I let you bomb that place, and it's like disrespectful. I mean, it's beyond disrespectful, but, for lack of a better word, it's disrespectful. It's slight. Not to mention it's a crime. But you're not upset by that. Matter of fact, you want to reward people, let's say, that destroy your religious base and the place where your religion is from. You know what I mean? Like, you want to reward them, but at the same time, you want to claim to be a part of it. That you're a Christian, you're a part of it. So the question is there this, the Bible talks about a great deception. Maybe there's a great deception going on, But it's funny, none of these people seem to notice that. They don't notice that what's going on. You don't notice that these so-called Israeli Jews shut down Christmas, bomb churches on Christmas, right? Snipe and kill people in churches and wipe out churches in the homeland of, the oldest churches in your religious homeland. You're not upset by that. But you're upset, you think somebody oppressing a Jewish person. Oh, they're oppressing these Jewish people. We gotta get them bombs and blow up schools and kill like 20,000 children, in Palestine, the place of the oldest churches. And something doesn't pass the smell test. Something doesn't make sense. Either that or Americans are the dumbest motherfuckers that ever existed in the history of the planet. So I'm just saying, which one is it? Is it that Americans and these people that claim to be Christians, they say America was founded on Christianity. America was founded during the time of slavery and genocide and land theft. But okay, we'll fast forward, and we'll just ignore all of that. Like, I mean, these people have a weird, religious sense, so-called. I mean, like, their concept of how they digest, to me, their religion and their so-called religious codes, their prophecy, their laws of their religion. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. It's like it's very a la carte. I'll take a little bit of this, but, and a little bit of that, but I don't want any of that. It seems weird to me. I don't know about anybody else, but it seems weird to me that they do that. And one, and two, it's extremely weird that nobody notices. Like the Negro in America, they don't notice. Like, I had a conversation, with a family member. I said, you guys claim to be, talking about going to church and all this. And I said, I don't know how we got on the subject, but I said, you guys, there's certain things that are in the Bible, but you guys don't seem opposed to it. Like the synagogue of Satan. Which is interesting that the Christians don't seem opposed to the things that the Bible are opposed to. Now, the Bible is opposed to Satan, but Christians are not. Why is that? The American Christian is not opposed to Satan or any of Satan's members. Why is that? Are they really Christians? I mean, do you have to ask the question? Is that because they're not really Christians? Like the Bible talks about the great deception. Are somebody being deceived? I don't know. I mean, I got questions, right? I guess I'm weird like that. I got questions. I have to question everything, right? And so then you have to ask yourself, what's really going on? That's why when I see them bomb these so-called Israelis, and then I look at them like, wow, these are really actually Arabs. Some type of Arab Muslim group or whatever. That's, like you look at in the land is actually stolen. But I mean, all of it is stolen, but more recently stolen. They live in a buffer zone. controlled by Israel. And then they kill these people and they blame it. You know, I'm like, man, it's a lot of weird things that go on that seems extremely wicked and evil. Extremely evil. Not just wicked. I don't know. I don't even have words for it. You know, you don't even call it evil and wicked. But it seems, I wish I had another word I don't know another word to call it. You know? And what's more interesting is, like, none of the people that in your church is like Creflo Dollar and Joel Osteen and, you know, none of your so-called bishops, pastors, right? T.D. Jakes, none of them seem to notice any of this. You ever notice that? Like, they don't notice any of this, like, shit that seems extremely evil and wicked going on. If you ask them, nothing's going on in Israel, but they all claim in Palestine, Israel, but that's the home of their religious, so-called, the base of their religious faith. But they don't notice any of this. They don't notice anything going on, and they'll show up on TV with a bunch of Israelis holding hands and kissing and dancing like Floyd Mayweather, who probably claimed to be a Christian as well. Like, you know, extremely wicked and evil, right? So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I would never dance around and kiss and hold hands and swear allegiance to people who destroyed my church. You know what I mean? Like me, I don't know, maybe I'm different. I'm built differently. But if I knew you did something like that, to me, there's no justification. So at that point, we don't have anything to talk about. Now, you might can get away with it, but not with me. Like, I wouldn't, you know, like, you going, hey, buddy, hey, get the fuck out of my face. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not interested. I want to explain, you know, there's no way this is unexplainable. It's unforgivable. There's no explanation for why you destroyed my church. You know what I mean? Like, that would be my take on it. Like, it's a normal, you know, that's like you know, doing anything. You know, my family's house. Like, you blew up my grandmother's house or whatever. Like, yeah, let me explain why. Like, no, I don't need no explanation. We done talking. You can't talk to me, ever. You can do something for me. You can drop dead, but you can't talk to me. But anyway, that's just me. I guess I'm just weird like that. Anyway, I gotta go. That's all I got.